Hey guys, oh, I think I can be closer. Better. All right, Adam Savage in my cave with a tool tip today, and it's an interesting one. There are a lot of tools we have in the shop that do the same thing as other tools, but with slight differences, so they're useful under different circumstances. A saw blade could be considered a tool in the shop, and all the ways you can hold on to that saw blade, a hacksaw, a handheld wood saw, a reciprocating jigsaw, a scroll saw, band saw, right? Every single one of those is a method for holding on to a piece of metal with teeth cut in it. And I was late to knowing about this tool, which is a reciprocating air saw. It has a piston inside that drives this back and forth. So it just, these are amazing. I called this a bone saw in a recent video, but it's not a bone saw. That's a different kind of saw. I got excited. This is one of my favorite tools. I discovered this tool. I was introduced to this tool while working on Tupoka City for episode 2 with Tori Beleche. Sorry, I had something in my mouth. Anyway, I worked on episode 2 on Tupoka City, the water city. And it was a bunch of us, Dave Fogler, John Goodson, John Duncan, Tori Beleche, Tony Preciado. We were all working on the Tupoka City, and it was these big fiberglass castings, and you had to cut them out really exactly. And somebody broke out one of these, and I immediately fell in love and immediately bought myself one. I have 3 different versions here. So let's see. Let's turn it on. I think that's worth doing here. Let's see. Okay. So this is, without a doubt, the cheapest one. This is Chicago Pneumatics. I believe this is the product sold by Harbor Freight. And here's what it sounds like. Okay, here I think is the most expensive version here, and this is made by Ingersoll Rand. It's functionally identical. I don't even feel much of a difference between the vibration between these. Hang on. Well, that's different. This is also an Ingersoll Rand, a much older model. Why do I have 3? That's a great question. I have 3 because I've had more than one television show. That's the simplest way to put it. When Jamie and I made Dangerous Toys, we ended up with some tools, and I ended up with one of these after that shoot. And then again, when Savage Builds went into production, we bought one of these, and it ended up in my collection. The blades, I haven't found like amazing blades. They're all just fine. They're basically like small hacksaw blades. And they're totally reasonable. They're phenomenal for getting into tight places. It gives a sensitivity of cut that very few other things do, and I want to show you. So here is a piece of my Iron Man Mark I armor. You can see it drying in the background because I've been working on that. So let us say that what I wanted to do was to remove this border from this piece of plastic, that this is all that I want. The first thing I would do is I would draw a line where my cut is supposed to go. That is just always good practice, because as you're looking really close at your piece and you're making the cut, just always good to have a guideline to follow. So there's my guideline. Let's get some light on this situation. There's my guideline. Now, here comes the, oh, that's not the one. This is the one with the freshest blade. I just put a blade in this week. And that's wonderful. I love that. It also, this is not one of those tools that tires out your hand because it's so vibratory. This is actually a very mild thing. Watch that. Oh, one other thing. there's often a depth setter for this, which is actually incredibly useful. And oh crap, the screw fell out. Okay, I'll have to put another screw in there. I'm sure I have it, but okay. Here's how this tool works. Watch this. There you go. There are other ways of doing that, but I'm not sure there are any that are faster. That every time I need to use one of these, and to be frank, using the reciprocating saw on urethane resin castings is like what it was made for. But every time I use this saw, I'm amazed by the fact that, like, I wouldn't want to look, I could make that cut on my bandsaw, but I don't like making those big, tall, movie cuts. Things can grab and jam. I don't want to use a jigsaw to do that. What, a little Dremel saw? I think Proxxon makes a little handheld reciprocating saw, but this is my jam. I love these things. There's often a question that new makers have, well, what's the difference between a pneumatic and an electric version? And I don't know. I'm actually not sure if someone makes an electric version of this, but pneumatic, this is the perfect pneumatic tool to me. It is the one I go to more than almost any other except the pneumatic rivet gun. Oh, I just put it away. There's another feature of these. There's another feature of these that I really appreciate, which is I haven't noticed any real significant variance in quality between the Ingersoll Rand and the Harbor Freight version. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes you pick up an inexpensive version of a tool and you compare it to an expensive version and you're like, damn, there's a huge difference between these two things. And sometimes not much at all. AVE, his channel often shows how very reasonable the interiors of some inexpensive tools are, actually. I have basically, I'm a person who's never met a reciprocating saw that they didn't like. Every single one of these is absolutely fantastic. This one, which is a little, got that sort of throaty, deeper voice. And I don't even know what, I have a shorty blade. I mean, this is the other thing is, it's not a blade that's going to cut your finger. I'm not recommending that you do what I just did, but seriously, this is safe tools are hard to come by. Tools that you can do complex things that are very dangerous with other tools. This is an example of a really safe way to make some complicated and nifty cuts. This will cut through foam, it'll cut through plastic, it'll cut through wood. I was just using it to do some trimming of wood inside the Mark I costume. All around, an awesome tool. The reason I brought up the dichotomy between pneumatic and non-pneumatic is I remember working for Jamie in the early 90s, and he went on this kick of like, oh, I'm going all pneumatic. And he bought all these pneumatic drills. And we tried them. We really gave it the best effort to use those things. But honestly, after about 6 months, we were back to using the electric drills. Some kinds of tools work within the right flow of a shop under new circumstances, and some don't. So in my head, there's always been this debate between an air version and an electric version, but it's not in many people's. That's just the history that's just letting you know about a little bit of the history of me and pneumatic tools. But listen to all these three again. Come on. Super cheap. More expensive. About the same. I mean, maybe this one's a little bit faster. Who knows? 50 hertz faster? It's hard to say. God, maybe it's even less than that. I think I have rambled on long enough. Reciprocating air saws. Add one to your collection. The blades are inexpensive and they all seem to work for me and hopefully for you. Thank you guys for joining me for this tool tip. I hope it was informative. And as per always, I will see you next time.